And Hunter, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to you. And you're on.
All right.
And if you're not talking, you're not Hunter or Delany, please mute yourself.
Thank you all so much for being.
Whoever 720-201-8087 is.
Thank you. Yes.
Can someone mute Ruben Garcia, please?
Right.
Ruben, can you mute yourself, please?
Thank you. I did. Yeah.
All right. Oh, I bet you that's in the presentation mode, isn't it? All right. You need to learn how. All right. Can you see that?
Yep.
All right. Good. All right. So like Scott said, my name is Hunter Genovese and I'm with Transamerica. I cover the Carolinas, North and South Carolina, for our mid-market, which is 100 to 2,000 live employer groups, benefit eligible employer groups. And then also on is Delany Johnson, and she just kind of supports me, but she also is responsible for under 100 life groups. So I think, you know, you guys will fall back and forth between that 100 life line, and she's going to go over some really helpful things later on that I think will be really beneficial for you guys under 100. But I'm just going to go over, see if it wants to move. I'm just going to go over Transamerica, brief overview of our products. And then Delany's going to share her screen and go over our express plans, which are specific for under 100 life groups. Walk you through the portal where you can log in and pull those plans down yourself. And then just kind of a walk through on how it works once you sell a case with us. So, you know, Transamerica is a fairly well-known name. We've been around a long time, started as a life insurance company. As far as, you know, our ratings, we have A+ on everything. So, you know, when you're talking to groups, you shouldn't have any hesitation on selling Transamerica products and knowing that we're going to be there and we're going to pay the claims and you're going to get the service that you need throughout the life of that plan. And this is just information that we can send out, so you have our contact information. And then as far as in-force groups go, you'll always want to contact the account management team, which uses this box, and it's specific for each region. So it doesn't just go into a whole, it only goes to about 4 or 5 people that manage specific regions. So you'll always get a response, ideally within 24 hours, that you'll get a confirmation that they're working on your email. So to go over our products, so real quickly, Scott and I talked, and I know there may be some rules from Symmetry on products that you may or may not sell with Transamerica. So I just want to let you know that I'm going to go over all of our products, and then hopefully we can clarify that. I was trying to get with someone in Symmetry's contracting, but I haven't heard back. So I couldn't get any clarification on really what they mean by you guys not selling specific products. Like I think Scott said, the universal life.
It's the guaranteed guaranteed issue universal life is one thing we can't.
Yeah,
that's the only one I know of, but that's one that I know that we cannot.
Yeah, and that's kind of our biggest product, if you will, the one that we sell the most of, just because of that living benefit rider that you had mentioned. But that's also available on the whole life, and I'm sure you're familiar with whole life. So it just, it depends on what groups want anyway. We sell a lot of the whole life as well as the universal life, but that rider is available on both. So we do have guaranteed issues. So for your groups under 100, the guaranteed issue is 50,000 GI. No health questions for groups under 100, and that's on the life products. And then for groups over 100, it's going to be 100,000 guaranteed issue. All of our products can be payroll deducted on a pre-tax basis. And all of our products are fully portable, which is a really good thing. And we also have, I don't know, how you guys enroll, but for ease, we do have an in-house enrollment software that you would just basically tell us you want us to build it out for the products that you want to sell. And then once you kind of go through open enrollment, you would log on to the site, or even during open enrollment, you can walk through each employee on this site with them. And that way you don't have to transmit any enrollment files or anything like that. We would get the enrollments in real time. So like I said, our life insurance, the Transelite is what we call our universal life. And our Transure is what we call the whole life. And that's a flat premium. Premium does not go up as they age. And our death benefits range from 5,000 to 500,000. And we really love we call it the critical care or living benefit rider. It's essentially like having the long-term care, having a long-term care product, but not, standalone. You don't have to go through all the restrictions of having a long-term care benefit. You don't have to be licensed for that. It's a rider that can go on our life products, and it pays a flat 4% for 25 months. We also have an extension rider that would extend that to 50 months. So if you think about it, you have $100,000 face amount life insurance policy, but you qualify with the 2 of the 6 ADLs for that disability, and you have the extension rider, you could essentially get $225,000 out of that life insurance benefit, because you're getting $200,000 of that as the disability, and then you're still getting a 25% guaranteed death benefit. So it's a really great rider.
Hey, Hunter.
Yeah.
Regarding that rider, so you're talking about 2 ADLs would qualify you, which is the same thing as that you would look at for long-term care. This is going to give them 4% per year access, or 4% per month access to their death benefit over time, right?
Yes, a 4% for 25 months. And then if you add on the extension rider on top of the living benefit rider, it would be 50 months.
Right.
So 4% for 50 months.
So for those of us that are just starting to dip their toe into the water, and this is a group issued product, that's a rider that you'll add to your group policies, and the group policies are guaranteed issue. So
Yes.
reading between the lines, what that means is essentially you can give people an analog to long-term care without them having to qualify for it.
Yep. And one of the big differentiators in this plan, this rider itself, is that we pay any caregiver, any family, friend, anyone. We basically just send the money to whoever you designate. It doesn't have to be a care facility. We don't require that you go into a long-term care facility or, hospice, anything like that. We can pay direct to relatives, anyone that's a caretaker. So that's a huge benefit, especially in the world we're living in now when no one wants to go to a facility. And then, our worksite products, our accident, we have 24-hour or off the job. It really just depends on the industry and everything like that. Our base policy for our accident plan includes an emergency treatment, hospitalization, and follow-up visits. But there are, for groups over 100, there are a ton of other benefits we can add in there. It just depends on how rich you want to make it for that group. And this is a self-administration product, which just means that we handle the billing in-house. So if you have a group with a small HR team that really can't designate a time to go through the bill line by line, they don't have to. They would basically send us their payroll, and we would deduct everything. And then we also would not go back if there was like a 15% discrepancy on the premiums. So it just helps with ease. So you don't have to continually go back and forth on a bill and if it's off and all of that stuff. And then we also have a standalone cancer plan that's actually very competitive, and the benefits can go up to $20,000 on that cancer plan. You can also have a recurrence rider. It's has several other riders. You can add like specified illness and disease. That just makes it even richer by basically covering every possible cancer that there is. And then we also have the critical illness, and you can also add a cancer rider on the critical illness, which I think is great because then you're basically getting two benefits in one. And then our critical illness is also very customizable, and is also a self-administered plan, like I mentioned, for the accident. So. And then we also have the hospital insurance, hospital indemnity, great product. All of these products so far I've mentioned, they can all have a wellness benefit to them. So, you know, and right now COVID tests are counting as wellness benefits, which is really nice. So that helps, you know, almost pay for it if you were to file that claim just to get, you know, $100 wellness benefit for the plan, because the rates are very competitive. And then we also have what we call a provider select, which is basically hospital indemnity insurance, but it pays double if you have a group, say like a hospital system or a medical office. If they use their own employer's facilities and they file that hospital claim, it pays double. And then we do also have a short-term disability. It's a monthly benefit. It is just, we just have the short-term disability because this is technically an individually rated product, but they are group rates. We're launching our long-term, true group long-term and short-term disability here shortly. We should be able to quote that in a few weeks. And that does, starting out, does have a minimum life count of 250. So if you ever, you know, get a group over 250, we can definitely look at the long-term and short-term, and also there will be a life for employer paid benefits. And so our TransConnect is our gap product, which pays in addition to your major medical. And so it's a first dollar payment, basically to help, you know, when a group offers a really high deductible medical plan. They get an ID card, they take it, they present it with their medical card, and we do all the claims on our side and then just pay the office directly. So the employee doesn't have to file any of that. And it has inpatient, outpatient, and ambulatory benefits. And this is just a quick illustration to help you understand, like you have someone that's in, they have a $11,000 hospital bill. Her health insurance paid, you know, $8,400. But Jessica's still left with $2,400, which is, you know, a big out of pocket for someone to, you know, pay. But then she has this TransConnect gap policy, and we pay the total $2,400. So she has no out of pocket expenses. All right. So I'm gonna see if I can do this. Can I make someone else the host now?
Sure. Just go to the right side of the screen, choose whoever you want to make host, and choose the option to use the more and use the make host option.
Okay. There we go. Okay, Delany, it should pop up. I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay. Can everybody hear me okay? I have my speaker on.
We're good. Got you live.
Awesome. So do you see the portal here for the producer portal?
The portal
It
has
was,
disappeared.
but now it's on your desktop, your home
Okay.
screen.
All right, I guess I'll just have to do this. Okay, perfect. Got it?
Yep.
You're good.
All right, so this is the login page for brokers who are appointed with us. You'll get access to this to log in, and there's you know, a lot of things that you can do from this page. There's some sales tools, reporting, sales administration. So once you have a group that's in force, you'll have a group admin where you can actually go in and look at bills and pay bills online. Employee administration, you know, the HR manager at the group would also have a login. It's going to look a little bit different, but they'll have access to do a lot of the administration on their side as well. What I would like to talk about is, you know, Hunter, as she mentioned, she handles group sizes over 100 lives, and I handle primarily the smaller groups that are under 100 lives. So with that being said, our proposals, our products have shelf-rated plans already in place that have the rates baked in for groups under 100. So you could pull them off the website and take them and sell them tomorrow. And so they're called our Express products. So I'm going to click right here on this button that'll take us to the plans. And the first thing you'll see is a map of the U.S. So you'll choose the state that the group is domiciled in. So for us, we'll just go ahead and go with South Carolina. And then this is going to bring up all the plans available for that state. So as you see here, we've got the health products here, the life products. Let's say that they're wanting to look at critical illness. So I'm just going to click on that. What we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different options for the critical illness plan. It'll come with a proposal that you have access to, and also a brochure, which is a little bit more employee-friendly facing. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the first one. Here it just gives a little blurb about what you can expect to see. 50% recurrence rider. It's got the cancer rider and $100 wellness benefit. And like Hunter said, the wellness benefits are really awesome. I mean, I've already submitted my wellness claims for 2 of my plans this year. And it's really easy for employees to go to the website and basically file their claims. Some things don't even require paperwork. You know, I had mammogram done and I had to submit no paperwork. They basically will contact your provider once you provide that information to verify. And within 2 days, I had the wellness benefit amount direct deposited into my account. So this first page here, this is all editable, so you can go in here and change, put in the name of the group, kind of make it look pretty if you're going to take it to the employer and present it. Proposal date, who's it presented by, that's all information that you can enter in. And so, the first part of the proposal is going to be, enrollment requirements, underwriting, gives a little bit of the highlights, employee eligibility, spouse, dependent. And here it lists for our critical illness, we have to have at least 3 employees to enroll in the plan. And that's the case for all of our products. The minimum participation is 3, except for our standalone cancer and our life products are a minimum of 5. So that's, we can go down to a group as small as 3 to offer most of our plans. And then it also lists the guaranteed issue amount. So if you have a group of 40, you're going to get 15,000. Again, this is no health questions. You can take enrollment on a spreadsheet or a paper napkin and send it, and we'll issue those policies because we won't need any signatures or health questions with the guaranteed issue amount. And they're up to 51 to 100, it bumps up to 20,000. And then it kind of goes into the details of the plan, the benefits, heart attack, stroke, Alzheimer's is covered at 30%. This one, like I said, has dependent insurance. So there's an option for 50% or 100% in the pre-shelf rated plans that are available. This one has 100%. So if you get a plan for you and your spouse and you have a heart attack or diagnosed, then you'll get that 15,000 or 20,000, whatever you enroll in. And if your spouse 3 months later, God forbid, has a stroke or something that's covered under here, she would also get 100% of the 15 or 20,000. First occurrence means after the effective date. So if you've had a heart attack 3 years ago and you enroll under the guaranteed issue amount, we don't know that. We don't care about that. And if your effective date was January 1 of 2021 and on February 3rd of 2021, you have another heart attack and are diagnosed after that effective date, then our plan would kick in and pay. Here's a bit of the cancer information with that rider and how much it would pay. And then it lists here how much the wellness indemnity benefit rider is. And then the recurrent critical illness. So what that means is this is 50%. So if you did have a heart attack, after the effective date and you did have a recurrent illness of the same type, it would have to be separated by 12 months of no treatment, and so that limitation would apply. But if it were to happen after that 12-month period, then you would get 50% of your benefit amount to cover that second occurrence. So if you did choose 20,000, then the second occurrence would be 10,000 is what would pay. And I'm going a little bit into detail of this, but this is kind of the structure of all of our proposals for all of our products. So you just know that if we went and looked at an accident plan, this is the layout and how it would look. And then of course you go into your rates. And so our critical illness is age banded. And, all of our express plans list the rates in weekly mode, but I am also able to provide any other mode that you would like to see, monthly, biweekly. I can run those rates and get those to you so you don't have to do the math. I know that can be a pain sometimes. So I know you mentioned the universal life may not be an option. So I'll just go into the whole life so you can kind of see what that looks like real quick. But again, all of these are here. If you click on one, you're going to get the available plans for that state. And you can kind of go through and look and compare the benefits and the cost. And then of course, if you want suggestions or for me to point you in a certain direction, we have some of these plans that are more popular than others with the benefit structure. And so I'm, definitely happy to do that. So just look at the whole life real quick. And this one has the living benefit rider with the extension and the paid up amount, as Hunter described, that it's, the living benefit rider is 4% a month for up to 50 months. And at month 26, that paid up 25% amount kicks in and goes into the death benefit bucket and waits there for the occurrence when the insured passes away. Then that 25% will go to the beneficiary. So same kind of structure and eligibility. We do have a child term rider. Underwriting, employees can get up to 50,000, spouses 15,000, child whole life 25, and then child term rider is 10,000, and that would cover every child. So whether you have one or three, they would each be covered by the same premium amount for 10,000 each. And then here's that living benefit rider here, 4%. It doesn't list 25 months, but that's the case. And the extension would be another 25 months, and then the 25% paid up amount. And then you have your rates down here after all the limitations and exclusions. So here you have your non-tobacco, 15, 25, 50,000 face amounts, and listed by its issue age.
Does
So
anyone
again, these can
want to see oh, sorry. I was just going to say,
go
does
ahead.
anyone want to see a specific product or have any questions on this?
Yeah, I'd like to go ahead and see just a scenario. Pick an age, pick a random sized company, just kind of see what you guys would normally work up for one of a standard company. There's no such thing as a standard company, but just kind of some sample, just an example. Or I know Carrie, Devin, or Brianna, I know you guys have some companies that you've worked with. Maybe you could speak to that as well. Something you might like to see based on something you guys have done recently.
I have a question. For the I believe it was the wellness program, basically the one that you were talking about with it pays your medical bills, kind of like direct deposit.
Okay.
Is that something available to us as Symmetry agents?
These are group policies, Amy.
Right, I understand that, but being the fact that we are technically owning our own businesses, and could we collectively go in as a group to have something available to us?
We already have Apex, and if you wanted to start your own group, Satterfield Financial Services, you can certainly do that if you had enough employees to qualify for the program.
Yep.
I don't have any questions so far. I just want to say you guys are doing a good job explaining this. This is really, really helpful to me with understanding it. So thank you guys.
Yeah. So Scott, do you guys work in any of the gap market?
We don't have a specific market. This is something that's relatively new to Symmetry, the whole group policy. We used to have a surety, and then we got away from them 2 years ago. And it's something that I know is coming up, that there's going to be a larger and larger push for this, which is why I asked you guys. Plus, I know that at least two of the people on my team have one large group and one small group that they're looking at this for. So that was kind of the impetus for this whole presentation. I don't think there's anything in particular in mind, just kind of giving people that are here ideas, because I know we all know business owners and we all have regular access to that. It's just something that a lot of agents here don't know that this is available. So this is kind of a, hey guys, here's a knock on the door. Here's an opportunity for you.
Right. And especially with our minimum participation being, at 3 and 5 employees, a lot of those small companies with 5 or 6 employees, it never even crosses their mind that they would be eligible for any of this. And, you know, especially right now, I mean, I think business is really going to pick up soon for a lot of agencies and brokers. You know, people are going to want that hospital indemnity. They're going to want that critical illness, you know, because if you think about it, you know, everybody is dealing with parents or grandparents that are going through something like this, and you know, how are they paying for their care? So it's definitely a good conversation to have, and knowing that you have you know, someone like Hunter and I that can help kind of fill those gaps and put those products in place to help those employees and employers is, I think it's important. So
is this to take the place of healthcare or add on like supplemental coverages from other big companies that, you know, like Aflac or Colonial or one of those? Is it similar to healthcare or supplemental?
No, so it is supplemental, and we are like Aflac, if you're familiar with Aflac. So all of our products are voluntary, and they're all like indemnity products. So let's say, for example, you had the critical illness and the standalone cancer, and you had the critical illness with the cancer rider. If you were diagnosed with cancer, that critical illness cancer rider would pay out and pay you that benefit to you directly. And if you had that cancer standalone policy as well, it's going to stack on top of that and pay you the cancer benefit.
Okay.
So it's not, you know, so yeah, so our products are indemnity, so to speak, to pay you directly. You know, and that's on top of any major medical they have. So if you've got medical insurance, you know, Blue Cross Blue Shield or whatever, that's kicking in and paying for some of your health costs, ours would pay on top of that.
Okay, thank you.
You guys, this is Ruben Garcia. I did a group this last December with Transamerica through another GA. They had 55 employees, and I got $39,000 a month of premium. And I was really pleased with the process because the applications and the guaranteed underwriting was pretty helpful, and a lot of those employees were Spanish speaking, so they had stuff in Spanish that helped me too. So I'm really excited about doing this through Symmetry. So
Yeah, it's great to hear. Yeah. And yeah, we do have resources in other languages as well. So I know, Scott, you had asked, you know, kind of like what we would do with the new group, but I mean, you know, we do takeovers, you know, rollovers from other carriers, but you know, if you're going in with a smaller group under 100, they don't offer any of these ancillary voluntary products. I would say, you know, just look at this, look at the list of these. I always say, you know, you need an accident plan. Everyone's going to have an accident. You know, no one's accident prone more than me, and I definitely use my accident insurance. It is really helpful, especially with kids. So I say that's a really good one to have in there, as well as the critical illness with cancer. If I had to choose two, those and then a life plan. But, you know, like Delany went over, there's several options, you know, so you can look at what premium you need to get at for a group. So if it's their first time, you know, maybe you want to start with the lower premium option, just to, you know, help them understand what the benefit is. And I mean, yeah, look at all those different options just for accidents. So it's very helpful for you guys to have access to this. And then, like I said, over 100, these do apply to groups over 100. You can certainly still sell these plans for groups over 100. But over 100, we can also customize them and, you know, add in things and take things out and just play around with it a little bit more.
I have a question about billing real quick. When you're looking at list bill versus direct insured billing, Yeah, I know that when the insured leaves the business, it's portable and they'll be able to be billed directly. Can they start off being billed directly as well?
They can't. It would be payroll deducted.
Gotcha.
Hunter, I don't believe that we can do that. Am I correct in that?
I don't know if there's a size limit, but, and I know it's not like, it can't be employee specific, like it would have to be a whole group that would go direct bill. I mean, we have relationships with Piedmont Pay and other TPAs that handle direct bill. So my understanding is we can. I don't know the group size, like if there's a group size requirement, but I do know that it would have to be the whole group. It wouldn't just be,
You
pick
couldn't
and
do
choose
half
which-
direct bill and half list bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And you did, speaking of that too, like we talked about earlier, them being fully portable, I did just want to point out to you, that some carriers, if the employer terminates the master application, then the employees aren't eligible to port their coverage. But we allow that. So if an employer terminates the master contract, the employees still have that option to take their insurance with them and then set it up as ACH.
And I'm just looking at the chat. So someone asked, is there a cost to the employer? So no, these are voluntary products, employee paid. So, I mean, the group can say they want to cover some of the costs, but there is no cost to just offer these benefits to the employees. So they're completely voluntary.
And if it's done with a payroll deduction, then the insured would not be, well, it would be a tax exempt solution.
Yes.
Okay. If the employer participates with the payment of the program fees on behalf of the insured, my understanding is that the employer also gets to take that as a write-off on their corporate taxes for that year. Do you have knowledge of that?
That's correct, Scott.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, in Transamerica, we honestly, we don't, not that we don't care, but it doesn't matter to us really if the employer is contributing or not. So just wanted to point that out.
All right, Dr. McCray, I saw that you unmuted a few minutes ago. Is there something you wanted to add?
No, I had a question, but I think they answered it. No, with the pre-tax contribution, they can't take that life insurance when they leave, is my understanding. As well as my question would be, on the long-term care benefit, I noticed that there were 2 of the 6 ADLs. I assume a cognitive impairment also applies.
That's correct.
Yes.
And our life insurance actually is not pre-tax, so that they will be able to port it. The other supplemental, the other benefits are pre-tax.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Delany, can you log out and go to just the Transamerica employeebenefits.com and show them how to create an account? Do you have to have your writing number to create an account?
I believe that you do, yes.
Okay, so
yeah.
So
the
we'll
writing
walk
number is
through-
different too, Hunter. My understanding, I've got 2 different
Right.
writing numbers for Transamerica. One's for my regular Transamerica and one's for my group writing number, which is different.
Yes. Yep. So you'll need to get appointed first for that group writing number, and then you'll create an account on this website. So let me go through the appointment process then now. Delany, do you want to pass it back to me?
You bet.
Hey, Hunter.
Yes.
Before you go too deep into this, most of the appointment process is going to be handled between Symmetry Corporate and you guys. So most agents are not going to have any part of that other than looking at what comes to us as a sign here and this is your contract kind of a situation. just
Gotcha.
FYI.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Well then, okay, so they wouldn't ever log on
It's not-
themselves.
It's not initiated by the agent. It's initiated by Symmetry Corporate.
Okay, perfect. Then I guess all you would need to know is to let them know that you want to get appointed, and they'll send you the paperwork and you sign it, and takes about 7 to 10 days because we do a background check for the full appointment, but you could get a writing number sooner than that. It just depends on when they create the account internally. And it's a TR number. So it's going to be a TR followed by about 4 numbers. And that will be, your licensed writing number with us.
The fact that most of us already have Transamerica writing ID numbers, which is not a TR number, it's a really long number. Does that affect the rate at which you can get the appointment? Or do you know?
Logically seems like it would, but I'm not 100% sure if it's a totally separate process or not. I will have to check on that.
Okay.
It seems like if we're going to give you one writing number, we could give you the other one without a 2-week lag, but
I just didn't know if in order to do group programs, if you have to go through a different background check process, because I know we all have to do that anyway to get our regular writing ID number.
yeah, I have no idea. I don't do anything with the other side. I mean, literally, I know nothing about that side. So, Delany, unless I'll have to check on that.
I'm not 100% certain, but you're right, Scott. It's the background check that takes the longest portion of that 7 to 10 days. And if that's something that we already have in the Transamerica house somewhere, then maybe it's not something that they have to order. So we can find that out.
Okay.
I would also say that it probably depends on how long you've had that number and when your background check was.
That's true. Yeah, my number is 3 years old, so.
Yeah.
I do have another question in regards to, I'm texting with my cousin right now. He has a roofing company, and he has quite a few employees, and he's going to give me a call later. So I'm kind of, shooting from the hip, just regurgitating what we've gone over today. But as far as a presentation to employees, is there an assist we can get in regards to that, or what's the best practice from y'all's perspective when it comes to enrolling the business?
Yeah. And you said it's under 100. So I'm going to let Delany take that one. She probably knows the best practices for that.
Yeah. So, if you're talking about from A to Z, soup to nuts, basically, we would get with whoever's going to be the broker, decide what plans that they want to offer. And with certain industries like roofing, it would be restricted to off the job only, which makes sense. So there's a couple of caveats. And once you nail down what you're wanting to offer, it's really going to be up to the size of the group and the broker on how they want to approach the employees, whether it's going to be in person or these days it's going to be virtual enrollment. If it's a smaller group and it makes sense to just take paper applications, if you will, and it's not really an application because if they're going to be under guaranteed issue or like our accident is guaranteed issue anyway, just taking down the enrollment information, the necessary information that we would need, and the premium. And then smaller groups, I could take that information, I could put it into our spreadsheets that feed into our system and take care of a lot of like the busy work, if you will. If it's a larger group and you want to use our in-house platform Trans app, then I would let you know what that would entail, time frame. We would need a census. If we don't have a census, then just setting the expectations of that you, the broker, would have to go into the platform and enter in each employee's enrollment information, whether that be at 8 o'clock at night with a glass of wine, or real time with the employee on the other end of the phone or in front of them. So there's a lot of different ways to approach that. It's going to be just very specific to the group, to the broker, the size, and what works best for you guys. So
Awesome.
does that answer your question?
It did. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Garbarini, in reference to your question about commissions, it's no different than Symmetry's commissions, although the group policy, group programs are banded. The banding is different and the rates are different. So it is a individual case by case basis as far as what you can expect. And I also know that there's a difference between the different product lines that are offered. So that's a huge, huge question that's not going to be able to be answered on this conversation.
All right, thank you.
Well,
Sorry.
so Delany, I
Yes.
see DJ in your name. Does anybody call you DJ?
Yeah, we had that conversation
Yeah, we
last
did,
week.
right?
Yeah,
cool.
and you said that you couldn't call me that because you already have a DJ.
Yeah. Right. So does anybody else have any questions before we let these ladies leave?
I
I've
have a
got one more,
question.
Scott.
Sorry, Philip, Carrie's first, ladies
Okay.
first.
Sorry. So if I had a group writing number through Transamerica that I had a couple of years ago, does that expire if it's not been used?
It would go inactive.
You
So
won't
I'd
be
have
able
to
to use it anyway. Any group writing ID number that you had prior to coming to Symmetry, you'll have to be reissued as a Symmetry ID number to make sure the hierarchies are maintained.
Okay, thank you.
All right, G-Man.
These policies being guaranteed issue, is that immediate coverage or is it graded at all?
That's a great question.
You said, is it immediate coverage or what?
Or graded?
Graded. Does it take a period of time before the policy is fully enforced and pays a full death benefit, or is it immediate?
It's immediate.
There you go.
Awesome.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If the group is domiciled, like say in Florida, but they have businesses in other states, how would that get handled on a group plan?
And you're the broker and you're in a different state than the group?
Yes, in other words, if I say they're here in Florida and I'm here in Florida, but the main company is in Florida, but they have dealerships probably all over the place is what I'm thinking. How would that get handled?
So it's
So
based
that's a
on
good question.
it-
Go ahead.
It's based on where they're domiciled, right? Like they're
Should be based on wherever the corporate headquarters is located.
yes, thank you.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, like I'll give you an example. I just did a group in Tennessee acquired a group in Georgia. So they couldn't offer those Georgia plans anymore to those employees because the group was now headquartered in Tennessee. So even the employees in Georgia are getting the Tennessee products.
Okay. But would I have to be appointed in that state to do that? Or since it's coming through whatever state it is, it wouldn't have to be, right?
If you're writing a policy, a group policy for a company that's headquartered in Florida, you have to be licensed in Florida.
Right. But I wouldn't have to be licensed in the other state.
Nope.
That's okay.
Nope.
That's what I
Just
need
like
to know.
writing children's policies on grandkids that live all the way across the country. You got to be licensed wherever the owner of the policy lives.
Well, that
Sure.
that gives me what I need to know. Thank you.
There is a few scenarios, especially with our short-term disability. You've got wonky states like California and New York that have certain state short-term disability mandates. So once those situations come up, we can deal with that. But I know I do have a group right now that's domiciled out of Virginia. But they do have employees in California and in New York. And so we've had to offer them a different state mandated short-term disability plan to those specific employees. So there are certain situations where that will come up, but it's just something that, once you bring that to our attention that there's employees and yada, 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 then that would be mine and Hunter's responsibility to let you know that, okay, we're gonna have to do something a little bit different for those folks, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is helpful, but for situations like that, like if a company has, different offsets, we can set up, several billing accounts under, a group. So if they have subsidiaries or, groups in other areas that want to be billed differently, we can set that up as well.
Well, Hunter, DJ, thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate your time. And looking forward to working with you guys on a couple of projects here in the near future.
Contact info for these ladies.
Yeah, Hunter, go ahead.
I can send it to you, Scott.
Yep, that,
you wanna-
and I'll send it back out. I'll put it in Slack for everybody. Okay.
Thank y'all.
All right, guys.
All
Have a
right.
great night. Hunter, if you don't mind, if you're the host, could you turn over the host to me before you leave?
I think Delany still is.
Or if Delany could do that, that'd be great.
I think.
I will try.
Go to the little buttons at the top of his picture.
The 3 dots. Make host.
Buttons.
I just don't see his picture. That's the problem.
Oh.
Click on your participants and find his name. And there's a more when you hover over.
Zoom 101.
I
It
am
only took
making
me 2
you the
months to
host.
do that.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you very
Good.
much.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody. Appreciate your time.
Have a good night, everybody.
You too.
You too.
Thank you. Learned a lot.